playoff matchup is set. Lakers up against your Houston Rockets in round one of the 2025-2026 NBA playoffs. I'm ready to go. I hope you're ready to go. First game is on Saturday, April 18th at 7:30 Central Time. You best believe I'm going live here on the channel, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and let's get ready for some Rockets playoff basketball, as we're just going to discuss this matchup between the Rockets and the Lakers real quick. Going to tell you my initial thoughts, my thoughts on what almost was a total, I made a video earlier, a total disrespect on the Rockets, because it looked like for a little bit the Nuggets might just give up that game and get the 4 seed instead of the 3 seed. They end up beating the Spurs. The Lakers, they obviously they still beat the Jazz, but it didn't matter because the Nuggets win clinched them the 3 seed. They will face the Timberwolves earlier in that same day. They're going to play at 2:30 Central Time. That means Lakers 4 seed, Rockets 5 seed. LeBron, KD, get your popcorn. They've met in the playoffs in the past, and I'm excited for this one. Fun fact, maybe not so fun fact, I would say. The Rockets, last time they played the Lakers in the playoffs, in the bubble, on the way to LeBron's championship with the Los Angeles Lakers, they lost in the second round 4-1 to that Lakers squad with Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Can this Rockets team, a very different Rockets team, might I add, a completely different Rockets team, beat the Lakers? And, obviously the biggest story around this actually isn't LeBron. Maybe for the first time in a series that is featuring LeBron, he is not probably the number one story in this game. The number one story is Luka Doncic and his health. Will he play at all this series? If he does, what will he look like? He, suffered a hamstring injury and went overseas to get some sort of treatment for that hamstring. Will it help him get back to the floor quicker? Will he be able to play up against the Rockets? Because this Lakers team with Luka versus without Luka is a completely different squad. And, I'm very interested to see his health and what he looks like. And, just going on Rockets Twitter, looking at it and looking at the matchup between the Lakers and the Rockets, some of our best players, our star players, and just a quick, reminder as well, this Rockets team, even though they finished as the 5 seed this year, have the same exact record as they did last season before Kevin Durant, whenever they had Jalen Green, whenever they had Dylan Brooks, and they were the number 2 seed behind the 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder get the 1 seed again in the West this year, but the entire level of the West kind of raised it up a notch this season with the Lakers, the Nuggets, and then obviously the San Antonio Spurs doing a lot of work. They get that number 2 seed. The West is a little bit better this year. And, say what you will about the Kevin Durant trade. Was it the right move? Was it not? So far, it's a wash, right? You have the same exact record from last year to this year. The only difference is, can you get past the first round of the playoffs? The Rockets, as the 2 seed last year, lost to the Golden State Warriors in the first round of the playoffs. Can this Rockets team make it past the first round, make it past the Lakers, and, possibly make it even further? Because, with Kevin Durant, with some of the star players on this team, you would hope that they would have a better result than the squad did last year. Kevin Durant, I think, has a lot to prove still, even at, 37 years old. Does he still have another run in him? And, this might be one of the, I'm not going to say one of the last chances for KD to go on a run, because he had a phenomenal season, averaging, more than 25 points a game on the year. Still was shooting clutch buckets. I believe, a week prior to the season ending, he led the NBA, or was second in the NBA in clutch time buckets. He'll definitely have a couple more runs in him, but, how many? Those days are numbered. Father Time, undefeated. That being said, the other side, you can say the same thing about LeBron James, right? Like, he is getting up there in age. He's getting a little bit older. Some fun stats that I saw on Twitter. Shout out to my guy Will, at Biased Houston, if you're not following him on Twitter. He put out some pretty interesting stats around some of Rockets starters and their stats up against the Lakers. Jabari Smith averaged 18, 6, and 1, 18 points, 18.7 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, 1.3 assists per game up against the Lakers during this season. I've continuously said Jabari Smith can be a major X factor for this team. If he is hitting that three-point ball at a high clip and is able to play defense and rebound, this is a really tough Rocket squad whenever he can accomplish those three things. So Jabari Smith, I think, is a big X factor in this series, and whether or not he can up his game and whether or not he can play at a higher level in the playoffs when the closeouts get a little bit quicker, the rebounds get a little bit tougher. Everything intensifies in the playoffs. Some more, interesting stats. Alperen Sengun, he'll be going up against DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes in the playoffs. He averaged 20.5 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 7 assists per game, a steal per game, 50% from the three-point line. Obviously, you play the Lakers 3 games, but still a pretty good number there by Alperen Sengun. And I think he's got to really, play some inspired basketball for this Rockets team to pull out some W's up against the Lakers, because, even though I do expect him to get his on the offensive end, I think he needs to really, get it together on the defensive end and be able to rebound for this team. I think sometimes whenever he gets in the thick of things underneath the rim, he does get, out rebounded, out hustled a little bit from time to time. I'm not saying like he's not trying out there, but I do think him being able to box out, be a good defensive rebounder, get at least 10 rebounds a game up against the Lakers is going to be a big key for this Rocket squad. Amen Thompson, who just had his career high the other night up against the Timberwolves, he averaged 23.7 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 1 steal per game. Amen Thompson, I wonder if he'll get the duty of guarding LeBron James, or are we going to get KD versus LeBron for most of the series? How will that look? Who will be the defensive, duties for each of these guys on this Rocket squad? That's going to be another thing that we're looking at in this game. And, obviously, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. That is, a story that has been a story in the NBA for quite some time, going back to whenever these two guys faced off against each other in the finals, right? Thunder versus Heat. Like, that is the start of their journey, and it just went up from there, right? You go to whenever it was Warriors versus Cavs, and they had Kevin Durant against LeBron James. Like, they have met plenty of times in the playoffs, and I think most people would put LeBron James ahead of Kevin Durant on the pantheon of NBA players. The Mount Rushmore, the GOAT list. Obviously the debate is old as time. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, but Kevin Durant with maybe another NBA Finals with a couple more Finals runs. I think he's already in top 10 of scoring players in the NBA. I mean, he's one of the best scorers that I've ever seen. Like, he makes a mid-range pull up over somebody look like a layup. He makes it look easy as anybody that I've ever watched dribble basketball. But this is gonna be a good matchup, and I can't wait to break it down. I'm gonna be giving you a full review of this series tomorrow on the channel, so make sure to hit that sub button. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can do so at Jeremy Chuggs on X, Instagram, TikTok. It's gonna be a good series. I can't wait for it, and let's get a dub this series up against the Lakers. Let's go Rockets. Type those LGRs down below in the comment section.